Hi everyone, this is Rima making part 2 of the healing video that I had made 3 or 4 days ago, and some of you requested that I made it again. And I like this filter. I like that pink. It's making me look so pink. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on. I have some very important information for a range of different people. So this video should cater to almost everybody who, especially in my close circle, who is in close connection, not necessarily circle, has been communicating with me. Again, to give you some context, this was related to the massive mass consciousness healing that I gave to Shiv and all of his bucks. I will tell you that healing was really needed. So there was no way around it, really. We really needed it, and no coincidence that I just made a post on the retrograde cycle of Saturn going back to Capricorn and all the Capricorn issues coming back. It struck me immediately after I did the healing, because Shiv is, I've written in my post recently in status and WhatsApp, is if you understand, Shivji is Sakshat Shani, so Saturn, and then Saturn going back to Capricorn. I think some of you may not understand this, because many of you may not. It's going to the depths of astrology and how it works. But with that, we needed to move the Shani parts in him, in the world. And COVID is coming back, which makes total sense to me. And I made that post before I heard so many COVID cases coming back. So everything makes sense. We're going back to Saturn and Capricorn for the rest of this year in terms of the energy and the issues that were dormant, that you didn't address, that you didn't work on, that you tried to avoid, that you pushed under the carpet. It's all going to come out again. So anything that has been difficult, chaotic in your life, challenges, issues within yourself, in your family, in your career, wherever, health, and you've tried to avoid them, they're going to come back. So welcome them, because you had a full 3 years to work on them when Saturn was in Capricorn, and you avoided it, so it's coming back. There's no other way around it. And you can still continue to push it and then suffer for the next 30 years of your life, and that's another option too. But that's why that Shiv healing was needed. It was needed. We needed to move Shivji. And if it's okay if you don't believe in all of this, but that's where the pandemic started. I had made a video before the pandemic had started, before anybody even knew about the pandemic. I have the video still. It's on my YouTube, mentioning about what's going to come and why. And it started from a lot of the Shiv energy that we're talking about on Earth. But nevertheless, that was just some backdrop for you. As we did this healing, it did different things for different people, but for everybody it did initially, including me, led to a lot of exhaustion. For me, it lasted a day. And that's because, again, everybody's at different levels. There's no judgment at all. But depending on the level you're at, same thing will go for anything in life, right? Whether you're studying, what level you're at will differ for each person. So your outcome will differ in that sense to an extent. So there's no doubt that there wouldn't be more time that I would need, like in terms of the exhaustion that I feel. But the one day it was total crash for me, and then I was fine. I'm not jumping out with energy, but that's not what I should be feeling any which way. So you don't want to feel that you have so much energy. That would mean something's wrong, actually. But for most of you, many of you have written to me saying that, well, you felt exhausted the first 2-3 days, and then some of you after that are saying it's coming back, it's leveling out. Some of you are saying it's still, I still feel exhausted. Somebody mentioned I'm feeling phased out, I'm losing memory, not really paying attention, feeling very slow. Somebody is talking about anxiety, etc., etc. So bullet points, couple things. Okay, I'll try to go through the list, because some of it is hilarious to me. One, the human brain. The reason why I didn't say that right away initially, about what could happen after the healing. First of all, I know that happens after healing, but didn't occur to me. And when things don't occur to you and you do it, that means the universe kind of pushed me into it, right? It's almost like, I know this information. How did I forget it? Well, because there was a divine intervention where it wanted me to forget something so that I don't stop myself from doing what was needed. Then for some people, this is very true. It's very, whether you agree to it or not, I don't care. But it's true for many people that if you tell them something negative, if you tell them after taking this medicine, you could get a headache, like the side effects, right, of a medication, 100% they'll find a way to feel it or get it. 100%. They're going to find that issue and bring it either to them or feel that it's there or feel that it's because of this, right? So hyper-focused, kind of used to being around problems or kind of wanting to seek problems, whether not like really looking. Some of them are actively looking for it, but then others, they don't even know they have that underlying, subconscious pattern of finding an issue with my life or finding a way to get that attention. So some people who are still on that, who are still feeling like very exhausted, some of them are there. But listen to the entire list. Second, for others, there are some of you who have had an issue there already since a long time. The long time could mean months, it can be years, many years. And this issue has now, what healing will do is it will bring to the surface your issues and kind of force you to it'll put it on in front of your face, right, and not let you move. It will force you to act on it, to do something about it, or keep feeling the pinch. And especially with the anxiety, etc., or feeling like, if you are, nobody's mentioned that if you're feeling very depressed and low, those are issues that were already there. And for some people I know, they had those issues way before and pretty intense, even before the healing. So the healing is not doing that for you. It's not creating it for you. What it's doing is it's bringing that issue out in the open even more to show you that this truly needs your attention. You can't continue to avoid it anymore, right? I know some people, for example, they're just so comfortable in not going out of their comfort zone and not facing the solution, not wanting to find solutions, but they'll continue to complain and mention that, I have this problem, I can't find a solution. The truth is that you've gotten so comfortable living outside your comfort zone, living in, finding a reason to complain. You want a reason to complain. You've gotten so used to it. How many people do you know who will continue to complain? There are some people I know, and within my close circle, in fact, 4 years ago, they had the same issues in life. Same. Now, they have the same issues in life. Every day, every week, same issue in life. Like, how can you be stuck with the same issue for so many years of your life, especially when you feel or when you say, I'm tired of it? But clearly you're not tired enough, because that issue is still there in your life. So you clearly are not doing what needs to be done to get rid of it, whether that's your attitude, whether that's accepting, whether that's a solution, whatever that may be. Like, there's so many factors that we can't go into those details. So some of you are there, right? But then what this will do is, and parts of that could be the Shivji, where he needs to move. He's so stuck. That's classic Shani. It makes me laugh because Durga is opposite, right? So classic Shani is, you got to move that. To move a mountain, what does it take to move a mountain? You push it, with all the strength, and it'll move half an inch. Like, that's really Sakshat Shivji. There are times when he's just so stubborn and wanting to stay in the comfort zone and avoid having to face the problem. Or no matter where you are, even with deities, they're superhumans. They're not God. They're considered gods, but they're not like God in the concept of the God that we define God, right? So everything's messed up in the human mind and the human world. Sorry to say, but as I talk about it, all of those levels come up to me and knowledge. But they're superhumans, and they have their own goals and consciousness and own things to work on. They're very high level. Like, even the Marvel heroes, they still have things to work on, right? They still have issues. They still have their inner challenges and their life challenges. And so Shivji has his own, and he's so good and mastered at procrastinating and pushing it away. And so we needed to move this. And everybody in his soul family, his staunch followers, will have more or less similar characteristics or issues. That's the part, that's why you're part of soul family. That's why you relate to someone, because you have some very clear similarities with them, whether you see them or not, especially in characteristics, personalities, etc. So avoidance, right? So one is it's bringing up issues that you were avoiding. The other is some people will hyper focus and over exaggerate those issues in their mind, even if it's not there, right? I can't help you there. I'm not going to worry about helping those people. They're not looking for solutions. I'm not going to worry about that. Third is, then there is, this is the part that I enjoy the most, is there are some of you who have not realized how deep your problem has been for how long. You've not realized that. Now you're probably wondering, why am I feeling this way? So for example, there's someone who mentioned that I feel like phased out, right? I feel like I'm forgetting things. Like, why am I feeling absent-minded? Well, because when do we start losing memory? There's only two reasons. I'm not talking about medical, I'm not talking psychology. It's all, for me, it's all BS, sorry to say. A lot of it, because they're way behind. They're eons and eons and millions of years behind in understanding soul growth, healing, problems with issues with disease. Why do we get diseases? All of that, right? Because if that was the case, science, if we believed in science, science would say it's not possible that some crazy person was able to give healing to millions of people, and so many of them all at once are feeling so exhausted. It would make no sense to science, right? So they wouldn't be able to make any sense of what we did. So let's leave that aside. But if we were to leave science aside, there's only two reasons why anybody can lose memory or be absent-minded. One is if you had chemical exposure. You were exposed to a toxic environment, or you ate batteries, or you had a surgery, something happened in terms of an injury or toxicity that caused it. So we're going to rule that out, right? That would have been an issue since before the healing. The other reason for memory loss or absenteeism is a sense of feeling absent, is you've had so much load on your system, whether physical, nervous system, mental, emotional, or all of them, and you've continued to push yourself through it and not taken the time to heal, even though when it felt like if I were to take my downtime, I would be reprimanded for it, right? Being a let's say Indian housewife, I would be reprimanded. I wouldn't get that time. Unless if there's a physical injury, then somebody would give you that leeway in a way. And maybe sometimes even not that. But it's telling you that there is definitely, clearly, an underlying, dormant, hidden, major issue that's very, very chronic. Very chronic. Because if immediately after the healing, if this came out for you, and especially when you've rested for 2 days, this is high red alert that this needs immediate attention. And if you don't give it attention, eventually that's how we develop all our diseases: thyroid, cancer, whatnot. All these diseases, for most parts, or much of the part, are related to dormant issues that have been avoided for a very long time. Very long time. It's nothing developed suddenly in that sense. So that means that you're extremely overloaded, or you're extremely parched on sleep, you're extremely parched on rest, or you're parched on emotional love and healing. You're living in a toxic environment. I can't tell you what that is unless if you talk to me directly, but it's requiring your attention. So we've reached that the people who now don't even realize how tired they were. Like now you're beginning to realize, gosh, why am I so tired? Well, because the healing has brought high red alert to the issues that require immediate attention, that are dormant in your system for a very long time, and causing you a lot of trouble, which you've either actively avoided or you're not even aware or not even understanding, right? So the way around it, number one, I will say, first of all, you have to continue to rest the next few days if you feel the need. If you're feeling exhausted and tired still, but you shouldn't feel exhausted. You can feel tired. At this point, you can feel tired. But if you're feeling exhausted and wiped out, that means that there has been way too much load on your system for so long that now you're about to reach a point of breakdown, either physically, mentally, in some way. And if you don't address it, you're just going to continue to aggravate that issue. It's like you're avoiding a fever, you go to the doctor, eventually, after a week, after 4 days, and they're like, you're about to die, like almost in that sense, in terms of the metaphor. And I've seen those cases several times, literally with the fever. So I'm not just making something up, but same thing happens with depression. Is generally avoidance of the emotional needs that have been avoided for a very long time, that you've not given attention to or hadn't had a chance to have been aware, and then that turns into depression. Depression doesn't just happen, ever. It doesn't just happen. Unless if you witness something suddenly, like very chaotic, right? Only that. So that's that. And then the fourth would be the people who are on the route to healing and they know that. And you're giving yourself that space and time. Now, the thing that I wanted to talk about with women specifically is, you will say that I have things to get done, but that's the problem. You're constantly on the go. For how many years of your life have you lived where you've not taken a week without feeling mentally stressed about what needs to get done? Or how long? I want you to take a pen and paper right now and write down, if you really sit to think and retrospect, for how long of your life have you felt extremely tired and exhausted, either physically, mentally, emotionally, or all of it? Look back and don't lie to yourself, because you don't have to tell this to anybody. You've probably done it for so many years, that this healing is giving you one golden opportunity to repair it. Like COVID, the pandemic, gave us a golden opportunity to repair Mother Earth. Because so many of us were stuck inside the home. Finally, Earth got some relief in being able to repair its environment to some extent. Very little, to some extent. Over the thousands of years that we've lived, the 2 years was nothing for Earth, but it was able to do a slight switch, because of that. Same thing. You can hire people if you have unless if you're in dire circumstances. Otherwise, I would encourage you, hire somebody for help, pay them extra. Don't eat outside for 2 days, in the next month. If you feel that you're in that dire circumstance, send your kids to somebody's house if you can, and get rest. Say no to projects that you had committed to. Keep them on wait if you can. If it's not life and death, do this for yourself. It is high time you do it. That's why it's come to your life. It's not come to everybody's life for a reason. It's come to your life with a golden opportunity to really repair your life if you want to. And the same thing is the nudge to Shivji. It's like, do you want to repair yourself and your life? Or do you want to continue living in that same, rut is the right word. So I would highly encourage you to take I've kept 2 of my clients on wait, which I should have finished technically. They're, not that I had them on a schedule with appointments, but I told them that I'll get it done over the weekend, but I haven't. And I'm going to keep that on hold because it's not going to be life and death. They can still survive. We're so used to believing that the world revolves around us. For women, we'll keep complaining, but we also are so used to have the world revolve around us. Imagine if tomorrow or today you fell extremely ill, or you got a major injury, or you were hospitalized. I hope it doesn't happen, but imagine if that happened. Everything else that's on hold right now, how would that have continued? Life would have still continued. If I die tomorrow, if I die today, even if it's challenging, my daughter's life, my friends, everybody's lives are going to continue. They're going to find a way. Nobody's going to die for me because I died. Nobody is going to die with me. No one is. So I know that the world can continue even if my world is on hold. And if too many people are so dependent on us that we cannot take 4 days or 5 days away from them, that's a very negative sign. That's a very, very codependent life that they're having with you and you're having with them. That's actually concerning. If the world around you cannot operate without you, that's extremely concerning, because sometimes we do that because we want to feel special and important. So we've gotten used to that rut, that pattern of you complain, but then you almost want that attention and subconsciously and want to be wanted and want to be liked. And so you want to be important, and so you're constantly so trying to be in everybody's lives, including your child's, over involved, and have them be dependent on you subconsciously. You don't even realize that's a pattern. Even a 3-year-old can survive, or a 5-year-old can survive. I'd left my daughter when she was 5, suddenly, for 5 weeks, when she had many other challenges in her life. It would have been very difficult for her to not have me around, specifically her main support system. I had to go. I could have let it wait. I could have. But I went because I wanted that time for myself, and I wanted to give attention to what needed attention. And yeah, she had a very difficult time, but she survived it. She learned from it. She grew from it. It's like I had to learn to let that go more than she needing, so many times we are putting our own wishes and aspirations, and and then we complain about the other people putting, like, having to have us around, needing to have us around all the time. So these were just the 4 main things that I wanted to point out, that some of you will hyper focus on your issues for no reason, like really you're just in that rut, in that pattern. Some of you have the old issues that were there, now the healing has brought more attention to it. So you need to do something about it quickly, very quickly. The third is there were dormant issues that you didn't even know that were chronic and deep and intense. It needs your immediate attention if you want a better life. It's like, remember the first video, after the surgery, it's your choice. If you don't rest, you can still get up and start moving even when the doctor told you to rest. And then in the long run, that's going to harm your body. It is 100%. You'll pay a price for it, for the short-term gain, right? Or you give it the rest that it needs, and the healing and the space and the time. There's no other way to heal. And then have the long-term benefit of it, for a beautiful flower to grow, beautiful. And then some of you, are just so dependent on that emotional need of creating a world around you that's dependent on you, which is not needed, really. It's not. So it's like you have the time, you just have an excuse in your mind that I don't have the time. And maybe you're not even aware of it, so I'm not saying it in a mean way, but it's about bringing that awareness. But all in all, by the end of the week, so that I'd mentioned in the first video too, so by Friday, by Friday next week, everybody should feel pretty normal. You may not have like the most enthusiastic energy, but it'll feel like a normal life, like you had. Like for most people, that should be the case. So I don't see any issues here. I checked with nature, I checked with my meditation, I checked with the universe. Like, there's nothing more needed here. So this is all that was needed from what I know. Okay, this is Rima Desai. Thank you for listening. Always think like my videos are going to be short, but almost never they are. Thank you so much. Bye.